Hello everyone, it's me, Angela Martin, and welcome to another quickcast. Now, with the imminent release of macOS Sequoia, we're going to look at some housekeeping practices before the installation of the new macOS. Now, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so guys, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Now, the first thing we have to do before even thinking about doing the installation of macOS Sequoia is whether our Mac is compatible. Now, the quickest way to do that is if we go to our Safari browser and we can go to a website called everymac.com. Now, once we're on this web page, we can go to the What's New tab. And within the What's New tab, you'll see that the first line, it says the compatibility details for macOS Sequoia. That macOS Sequoia, macOS 15 is actually a link. If we click on it, it will take us to the page which shows us all of the Mac models that is compatible. And further on, we can also identify our compatible Macs by using the model ID. Now, to find your model ID, guys, it's one of two ways. You can go to your Apple menu, and within your Apple menu, you can go to System Settings, and within your System Settings, under the General Setting, go to About, and under About, we can go to System Report, which will take us to our Mac model identifier, which is sitting under Hardware. The easiest way to do this, guys, and I'll just show my keyboard to show you guys which key stroke you must use, is when you on the Apple menu, simply hold down the Option key, and this will change your About This Mac into System Information, which will take you straight into your System Info. And under Hardware, there you can see it takes us to the same place as where we found our model identifier earlier on. So once we have our model identifier, we can then find it within this list. So mine is a MacBook Pro 15.6, and that is 15.6, and it's in the list. It is compatible. Now that we know that my Mac is compatible, we need to find out whether my third-party apps will be compatible with macOS Sequoia. To find that out, we're going to go to another website which is called roaringapps.com. Now, in there you will see that there's a Get Ready for macOS Sequoia. We click on View macOS Apps, and here it will take us into the page which shows us all the apps that are compatible, not only with Sequoia, but even the previous Mac OSs, and even for those who are using Windows computers. However, if we want to see the apps that are compatible with Sequoia, most of the time the apps that are compatible with the Apple Silicon and Sonoma might be compatible with Sequoia, but always triple check it, guys. And here we can easily do it by clicking on the filter, and we under Mac OS, and we can show only the ones that are compatible with Sequoia, and we can then switch over to Works Fine, and here we can now search for the apps that are compatible. Or if you want to look at a specific app, you can even type it in, like say for instance, if I should use, let me go with ScreenFlow. Let me not say Sequoia, let me say Apple Silicon, and there it will bring up the ones that are compatible with the Apple Silicon. And if it is compatible with the Apple Silicon, possibility that it will also be compatible with the macOS Sequoia. So guys, remember that many of the apps will not have a day one upgrade. Like most of the time your Microsoft Office and your Adobe Suites will have this. So it is pretty handy to double check it here. If you don't find it on day one release of Sequoia under roaringapps.com, you can always go to the vendor page, which is also found under roaringapps.com. Now, when it comes down to the next step in terms of housekeeping is whether your apps are up to date. Now, there are three ways we're going to do this. First of all, you have to check that your macOS is up to date by going to your system settings, general, checking under software update. If the software update says that you are up to date, that's one tick off the list. Now, the next thing is to check if your apps that came with your Mac as well as apps that you download through the App Store is also up to date. So here you can go to updates and it will show you if any apps are still needs to be updated. If there are any other third-party apps that you have not gotten through the App Store, you can go to those apps directly. Now my Microsoft Office apps, I've gotten straight through the Microsoft Office portal. So here I would just go to Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, and I can go to the Help menu and I can check for updates there. And this is just one example, guys, but for any other third-party apps like VLC, and in under VLC you can see this for check for updates. So between the app name on the menu bar and the help menu, you tend to find the check for updates button on these third-party apps. Now, setting up a backup on the Mac is extremely easy. All you need is an external storage device. Now, just be aware, I'd rather use an external storage device that doesn't have any information on it or is a new one. If you are using an external storage device that have information on it, the chances is if you do set it up as a time machine backup, there's a great possibility that it will wipe out that information, as the format on the drive might not be the format that is required for the time machine backup, because as you see, the format for the time machine backup must be the format APFS or Apple File System. So with that said, you can see mine is as a APFS, and this is a clean drive with no information on it. So I can simply just go to my system settings. Under my system settings, I'll go to my general setting and I select time machine, and on time machine I just add a backup disk. Now you can see that the backup disk that I want to use, it's named as untitled. If it is named as untitled and you set the disk up, it will automatically change the name to backup of the machine name. So I'll just click on set up disk and I will encrypt it. So with the encryption, you need to put in a password and verify it. So I'll quickly just add in a simple password, and of course I'll just put the hint on as 1. And yeah, I can set the disk usage limit, and I can customize to specify what the limit will be. Now this is actually pretty good if you've got a very large external disk and you don't want to use the entire disk as for the backup. Now once you have set a limit, then the rest of the disk can be repartitioned and be used for something else. Alternatively, what you can also do is you can set it to none, which will use the entire disk, and then you can actually go into your disk utilities and first partition that external disk into the partition for your general use, and set the other partition up which you will use for your time machine backup. For now, I'll just keep it as none because I want to use the entire disk storage for my backup, and I'll just click on done. Now it's preparing and setting it up. Now when it's complete, you can see that it's changed the name as specified. And now before I even start the backup, you can see it's starting the timer now. I'm going to go to the options button, and here I've got additional options that I can apply to my backup. First of all, the backup frequency by default is set to every hour, but I can change it to go to once a day, once a week, or if I want to, I can do it manually as well. For now, I'll just keep it on every hour. And I can also back up when I'm on battery power as well. If you untick this, it will only apply the backup when you have it on power. For now, I'll just keep the settings as it is. Now below here, I can exclude certain elements of my backup. By default, you can see that the applications folder has been excluded, and of course the actual disk also was excluded. Now what I'm going to do is I can just click on the plus, and here I can exclude other items too. What I'll do is I'll also exclude my library and my system, and I will just click on exclude. So those items are excluded. I also want to exclude some other items. So if I go to my users, I can exclude the other users as well. And I will just do the backup for my current users. I'll exclude that as well. And I just click on done. Now you can see that the backup process has now started. So now that it has started, I can also control the backup manually. After I've created my backup, you'll see that it does the backup or time machine icon on my menu bar. Here I can just click on that icon and it will specify how much information have been backed up so far. I can also stop the backup by saying skip, and I can also browse the backups after it's been completed or quick access to the time machine settings. Now there are other third-party backup services that you can also use, and one third-party backup is Carbon Copy Cloner, which is found on the website bombig.com. And the difference between Carbon Copy Cloner and Time Machine is that Carbon Copy Cloner backs up not only your data and information on your computer, but your entire system, with meaning your operating system as well. And this is pretty ideal if you want to have a quick safety net of your entire system just before doing the upgrade. There's also a cloud, there are also various cloud backups. The one that I've done a little bit of research on, guys, that I would recommend to check out, and that some of my clients are already using, is a cloud backup service called backblaze.com. There are different products for both business and personal, and it does support both Mac and Windows, and you can also do a free trial with it as well. Out of all the cloud backup services that I've checked out, I must say Backblaze is the best buy for your buck. So after you've done all of those checks, from checking the compatibility of your computer to checking the compatibility of all of your third-party apps, make sure that everything is up to date, and finally doing a backup of your entire system. With all those important checks made, you should be ready to do the upgrade to the next macOS. So guys, that's me, Angela Martin, with another quick cast. Stay safe out there, and goodbye.